Okay. I'm keep making the same videos over and over, but it's funny how I'm able to articulate that in ways that just shows consistency. And I say that before it happens, and because they do things systematically. Let me just start with the beginning. I'm what you call a target individual. I'm a test subject. As a target individual, what it is you are a guinea pig. The government utilizes you to develop this technology that's weaponized. And these perps are the contracted trash that are supposed to make you subscribe to this. Every day of your life is rewired and altered in ways that makes you have experiences that's degrading. What this trash around you are supposed to do is to disorient you and confuse you into accepting this manipulation. One thing is for sure, if you get anything from my videos, is targeting video, do not identify. Do not. However they want you to think. With me, like if you watch the last video, they're like, we're just using your brain. Basically, they're saying that we're manipulating you. But we're manipulating you with what is in your brain. Literally saying that it should make sense because we're rewiring your brain, but it's your brain that's being rewired. It's like, first of all, they don't just rewire with what's in my brain, they also can implant thoughts and experiences that is just implanted. But they are readjusting your brain in order for you to experience that. So either way, whatever fashion they make you have these experiences, they have to change your brain. They have to make you somebody you're not for you to experience that. They have to rewire, readjust things, manipulate things in order for you to experience this. It's altering a brain. It's changing who you are. No matter how they're making you experience that. It's just now you being a normal person, being yourself. Being an authentic person that is not being altered. They are changing who you are by rewiring your brain and alter your brain. It's done by design, and they purposely make you have an experience that they want you to have in whatever fashion they can make you have it. Right? And they use very childlike people who want you to be on that stage of retardation. They want you to think the way they think logic should be in, and obviously they know it's not logical. That's why they're doing that. That's why they're gaslighting you. That's why they're breaking you down. They know that it's an illogical thing to even try to make somebody subscribe. That's why gaslighting is needed. That's why brainwashing is needed, because they want to make you think in this illogical way and brainwash you into thinking that illogical ways of thinking make sense. And that's brainwashing 101. It's trying to disorient you from thinking in a critical way. Critical thinking should not happen when you're being brainwashed. That's the goal. But at this point, it's not even just critical thinking. It's just thinking, period. Make you think, just be able to think. As I say, period, they try to disorient me, but I'm going to stick to this topic. They just want you to not be able to think. Just be a clown. By any means. Disorientation, fear tactics, illogicalness, nonsensicalness is applied onto you all the time. What you're saying here is perfect. You see babies of all ages, actually you see little kids, and then you see, and actually I should put like a baby, but you see somebody from around 3-4 to somebody who looked like she's like 16, 17. And every time I saw one of them, they were stimulating me around that. Let's start with the older one. The teenage girl there, initially, there was a different picture of her. I was like, she looked like she's a teenager. I wasn't sure it's like a teenager in the initial picture. It's like she looked teenagey. Now, obviously, that's going to be easier to manipulate because we're talking about people who are getting closer to adulthood. They start somewhat appear like adults. So it's easier to manipulate. I look at the videos like, Jesus, look at this little skinny. It's just that picture initially could confuse you a little bit more. But when you look at that, it's like a teenager 101. So it's just like a typical teenage kid. But they've been doing these things where they make me have this sexual arousal toward young people, teenagers. And Like right now, the mental battle I'm having is like, oh, but the initial picture was like, yeah, the initial picture is easier to manipulate because she look less like a, she looked a little bit older, more on the young adults way. But you'll see that typical. I don't even have to like look into that. I'm giving her 16, 17 years old based on this picture. Now she could be older, but that's what she looks like here. And they try to mess with me. That's the less extreme stuff. These kids are getting closer to adulthood, so they can play my brain to see these kids more like adults, or at least young adults. And then I've seen young adults that can look at it in a sexual way, of course, like everybody else. But clearly here, it's impossible to make her look like an adult because she looks so teenagey. Now, you see a kid there around under 7 years old. This little Asian girl. They do these things. Right now, they make noise campaign because I'm supposed to be scared. It's the things they do. 7 years old or so. They do the same stimulation toward kids, but it wasn't that intense. And then there's this little girl there who looks more like 4ish. They're like, no. And that's actually, they made this noise campaign where via V2K you can hear noise campaign. They make this like noise campaign that's supposed to make you fearful. So they drop something, bah, yeah, and that's supposed to be like a noise that's supposed to induce fear, and fear is supposed to make you identify to this. This black little girl, that's when they're like, no, we matched it to you when you were in 8th grade. Because when I was in 8th grade, I did this damn thing to myself in middle school. I was 13, 14 years old, to myself. That's when they're like, no, we're mapped to you when you were in middle school. They don't do that. They're just changing my brain. They give me sensation stimulation. It's like, yeah, that should not look like that. It's like, no. You are altering my brain as a grown man to perceive this child in a sexual way. And you're falsifying my memories. Because that's not what I experienced when I was a child. But on top of that, and they're really making me have this experience like, no, that's how you felt. Like, no. But can you imagine being a grown man being told that the way you perceive these babies is the way you used to perceive them when you were in middle school? You see all the steps of what they do to clearly alter your brain. They use fear tactics. Every kind of tactics, brainwashing tactics, to make you believe that you're not being manipulated is clearly, even them saying, even the logic they want you to have shows pure rewiring. Even what they want to say in a logical way is like, no, we matched it to you as a kid. Are you saying that you're making my brain, you're altering my brain to have a brain of a child, of me as a child? That's called rewiring. That's called changing your brain. And you do that on purpose because you want me to have some experiences that are not organically happening. Because you know if you don't do anything to my brain, this will not be experienced. So for you to make me experience that, you want me to have some kind of experience that is degrading towards children. This perp's job is to make you identify with this manipulation, and their job is to make you have these sexual stimulations toward children. And then they assessing what experiences manipulation can look like they're not manipulating you. Well, of course it's not going to work. So what can make sense? The assessment they're having here is assessing how they can make you have an experience and how they can make some kind of reasoning behind that. Targeting video. This video is enough for me to explain myself. This perps want you to identify. No, brainwashing really is to make a person identify to a false reality. So when I make these videos, it reinforces the fact that I'm not identifying with this. I understand that you're clearly doing things to me for me to experience that. You are altering my brain, which means it's not something I would experience naturally. It means that these trash are purposely reconstructing my brain in ways to make me experience that. And why is that? It's because they want to break you down. This is why these videos are crucial for me or helpful. They want you to internalize this retardation of a logical sense and identify with this. It's funny to me. It's like, oh, I explained that. It's like, does it sound like I'm explaining anything here? The only thing I'm explaining is like, I know that you're manipulating me and I know that you want me to identify with this. There's no explanation there. It's reinforcing the facts that you are just manipulating my brain to experience that. And you want me to identify with this. You see, from the youngest kids, and actually, I should put in a baby there. Actually, never mind. As I'm making this video, I'm putting a baby here. This is early on. You seen that picture of this baby? A baby from early this morning to the older kids. You see the spectrum of all the different manipulation, from the baby, the youngest, to an infant, to a teenage kid, and then having the trash around you who's supposed to disorient you and to make you accepting of this. Target individuals, stay strong and understand the clowns around you have the purpose of making you accept. Can you imagine somebody's like, no, but even though you're being altered, we're altering you using your brain. Can you imagine? That is something that, as a grown adult man, I should be thinking, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. They're changing me, but they're changing me using my brain. Well, if you change around your brain, you're no longer you. If you're saying that you make me experience things that I experienced when I was in middle school, when I'm a 37-year-old, what does it make me? When I'm a 39-year-old, when I'm a 40-year-old, when I'm a 32-year-old. It's clear that they don't even do that. It's not even they just rewire with you. They can implant feeling. They can make you have this experience. They have mapped brains to the point where they can make you experience what they want you to experience. And the only assessment that's happening here is the assessment of how they can make you have these experiences. That's it. With fear tactics, brainwashing tactics, all kind of tactics. Plus altering your brain using this technology. It's that simple. Be strong and understand that. And I swear to God, you will not identify with this. Accept the reality that you are no longer yourself. Who you are now is somebody who's being altered, manipulated, and by design. Stay strong.